Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, we're on the record today in the matter of Yim versus NIH, docket number 21-7031. Because we are on the record, I'd like to take appearances, starting with plaintiff. Please state your name for the record, sir.
My name is Jinpyong Peter Yim.
Thank you. And for the defendant?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. United States Assistant Attorney Margaret Ann Mahoney on behalf of the defendants.
All right. And I understand you have some other people on with you. Did you want to put their appearances on the record, or are they just on to listen?
No, Your Honor, I think it would be best to put their appearances on the record in case they're able to better answer any questions they have that they have some specialty knowledge about FOIA. So if you don't mind, Gorka, would you like to start and put your information on, and we'll go in the order that we did earlier?
Certainly. Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Gorka Garcia. I'm the FOIA officer at the National Institutes of Health.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I am Karen Lampe, and I am a government information specialist at the National Institutes of Health.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I am Elizabeth Bowen. I'm an attorney with Department of Health and Human Services, Office of General Counsel.
All right. Now, let's be clear. We are not having any kind of evidentiary hearing today. I'm not taking testimony. I'm not even dealing with the substance of the application unless it's something that we can resolve. My intention was to hear from you as to what the status is of Mr. Yim's application and to set a schedule for you to do motion practice before the district judge. As you know, I'm a magistrate judge. I'm not the district judge. I will not be deciding the ultimate merits of the action brought by Mr. Yim. But I am here to set a schedule, and if we can resolve the issue, that's certainly a plus. So I read what is on the docket. I read the letters that previously went to Judge Martinotti. I'm sure you know that Judge Martinotti is no longer on this case. We now have Judge Qureshi as the district judge, and that's who will be deciding the ultimate motion. Out of curiosity, based upon the letters that went back and forth, it seemed to me that there should be a way to resolve this short of motion practice. So I'd like to hear, and remember, we're on the record. I'm not asking you to give away anything confidential, personal, or that you wouldn't mind sharing with whoever's on the internet. Although I don't think we're getting into personal things. Mr. Yim, what is it you're looking for that you haven't been able to get from Ms. Mahoney?
What my request was to get a document from the NIH related to their decision on a drug for COVID-19. And based on their response, initially they didn't respond at all. And after I filed suit, they did respond. But based on their response, I wasn't able to tell whether or not that document exists. And so my request is very simple, is to get a response from them that I can know for sure if that document exists. I did make that request specifically in email exchange with Ms. Mahoney, and I didn't get a response from that direct request. So if they are able to respond to that, then that would satisfy me. I just need to know if the document exists. Of course, if they can provide the exact document, that would satisfy that. Or on the other hand, just tell me that it doesn't exist.
Ms. Mahoney, I assume you know what Mr. Yim is talking about. You know what document he's talking about, or non-document. Is there such a document? Can you answer that? Can we avoid motion practice here?
Your Honor, our goal is very sincerely to avoid motion practice. But unfortunately, it is not clear what document it is that Mr. Yim is asking for. We've asked multiple times for him to clearly state what it is that he's asking for. His FOIA request asked for all updates to the coronavirus treatment guidelines from 2019, and he gave a very specific date frame. That's what his FOIA request is, and it's number 55822. The NIH responded fairly quickly and let him know that all of the information he's asking for is publicly available. So based upon what his specific FOIA request is, that information is publicly available. We've offered to copy it for him and send it. We've given him specific links to where he can find the information that his request is asking for. And, you know, it's a little perplexing to us because he's saying that, you know, he doesn't have access to it, but it's publicly available information. His FOIA request specifically asks for the treatment guidelines, and we've shown him where exactly to look for the publicly available information. So I'm not sure what specific document he's looking for. As Your Honor probably is aware, having done other FOIA cases, the NIH is not going to create a document in order to satisfy his request, nor do they answer yes or no questions. All they can do is supply already created records or inform the FOIA requester where the information is publicly available. So it's our position that based upon the request that he's made, that we've satisfied it to the best of our abilities. And short of him explaining or filing another FOIA request or explaining in more detail exactly what document he's asking for, it's very difficult for us to respond any further at this point.
Judge, if I can respond.
Yes, please.
Okay. After I filed the lawsuit and I received the response from the NIH for the FOIA request, Ms. Mahoney contacted me by email and asked me if we could agree to dismiss the case. And I at that point, I requested for changes to the FOIA response. And I want to read a part of that just to clarify what I'm talking about. On May 6th, I sent an email to Ms. Mahoney. It was at 4:58 p.m. and it's in the defendant's Exhibit A. It's on page 2 of Exhibit A from the defendant. And I said to Ms. Mahoney, and I'll just read it, Ms. Mahoney, I can accept that response, and that's referring to their claim that the record does exist. I can accept that response if NIH is able to substantiate their claim by producing the specific record. In other words, the case is over as far as I'm concerned if they can provide the specific record. It's over. I have no further requests. My request is satisfied. So if there's any doubt about what it is I am looking for, hopefully that clarifies. If they can respond now when we're in this call to that request, they did not respond in the email chain.
But again,
Mr. Yim, what exactly is the document that you're looking for? Because I'm not privy to those emails, and I'm just trying to understand what document are you looking for?
Okay. Maybe let me step back. I'm just going to. I guess just to be clear about everything. Maybe it's best that I just read the original FOIA request. It's a very short request, and basically, if I can just take 1 second, if I can find it. Basically, sorry. Okay, I'm just going to read the FOIA request so that we're all clear what the basic issue is. Okay, the basic FOIA request was all updates to the coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19 treatment guidelines that were endorsed by a vote of the panel, and the date range for the request search was from 0101, January 1, 2021 to 0128, January 28, 2021. That's the entire request. So they periodically publish these updates to the treatment guidelines, and those are available publicly. The only distinction here is that I only want the one that was endorsed by a vote of the panel. So I know that there is one that exists online that satisfies those requirements, except for whether or not it was voted on. So I'm just asking them basically to confirm or deny whether that particular published update was voted on. It's a trivially simple matter. There's an actual URL. I can provide that where they just need to say yes or no. That URL satisfies the FOIA request. So it's a trivial matter. My intent is not to actually get the document itself, but rather to find out whether it was endorsed by the panel. And I will go a little further in so that this doesn't seem too arcane to the court. Is that basically looking at whether or not the NIH deceived the nation about this recommendation on this drug.
So what you're looking for is whether there was an endorsement by vote of panel on this guideline, and if the response is, what I'm hearing from Ms. Mahoney, is that all endorsements and records would be on that website. Is that fair, Ms. Mahoney? I don't want to put words on in your mouth, because I think there are nuances here that I am not appreciating, and I don't want to misstate something.
Thank you, Your Honor. And if I misstate something, please someone from the NHS or from DSS, please respond appropriately. But, Your Honor, based upon the request that Mr. Yin made, he asked for all the updates to the Corona Disease Task Force treatment guidelines that were endorsed by the panel and the date range. And we gave him the specific URL to find all of those updates. So they're open to public, they're online. And as I mentioned earlier, the FOIA is not, they don't respond yes or no to a specific question. All they can do is direct you to the information where you can find the yes or no answer. And also, they're not going to create a document based upon someone's FOIA request. It's not the appropriate vehicle for FOIA. They don't create documents to respond to people's questions. So as far as we're concerned, this specific FOIA request has been answered to the best of our abilities because we directed him to where the publicly available information is about this. So we're unable to give him a yes or no answer because that's not what the FOIA request act is for. They don't answer yes or no. They simply say the documents exist or don't exist, and they direct you to where you can find the documents, or if the documents are able to be released, we'll produce the documents.
Well, it sounds to me like he's asking if the document exists, and you're pointing him somewhere. Is your response, if there is a document that shows an endorsement by a vote of the panel in that time period, it would be at the URL that you have pointed him to? And is that the answer?
Yes, Your Honor. The answer is that the updates to the coronavirus treatment guidelines that are endorsed by the panel are posted publicly. And we've directed him specifically to where he can find the updates to those treatment guidelines.
Mr. Yu, what more are you looking for then? If it, I hate to add my own interpretation, but what more are you looking for? You've heard Ms. Mahoney say she can't answer. This isn't discovery in a lawsuit, all right? You can't do an interrogatory saying, does this exist, or did you do this, or did the panel vote, or what did the panel do? She can only point you to where documents are or aren't, and she's done that.
Yes, I understand that, Your Honor. My interpretation, and I have no training in the law, but from reading the statute, my interpretation is that the federal government is required to inform the requester in their response if the document does not exist. Whatever response they give, let's put it this way, whatever response they give, if the document does not exist, they are required by law to state that, and it's not acceptable. For example, if they were to point me to some website and say, if the document exists, it would be in that location, because then I don't really know for sure. I know what potential documents are, but I wouldn't know for sure if the document exists. So I don't think it's enough just to point someone to a website and say, if the document exists, it would be there. They need to be. It's not enough to say that there are many documents here, and if the one you are requesting exists, it's one of these. Because if that format is acceptable, then the government would never need to tell people if a document existed.
Ms. Mahoney?
Sure. So in response to Mr. Yim's email to me saying that the response that NIH gave him was not acceptable, he said, I insist that NIH confirm that the record I request does not exist. So we responded on May 6th, again, and said, Mr. Yim, there's some confusion on my part. I'm not sure which record you would like the NIH to claim does not exist. The records you requested do exist. So we very clearly told him that the records do exist. The search conducted by the FOIA office revealed that the requested records have been made public and are posted on the aforementioned website. The records are available to you and the public in electronic format on that website. If you are unable to access the records electronically, please let me know, and I will see if the FOIA office can provide you a printed copy of the requested documents from the publicly accessible website. And then I said to him, if after reviewing the publicly available information on the website, you still do not believe the information satisfies your original request, please let me know what you believe is insufficient. So we responded and told him that the records do in fact exist. We explained that the FOIA office conducted a thorough search, and we gave him we didn't point him to just some general NIH website. We gave him very specific URLs to follow that would lead him directly to what it was that he wanted. And in addition, which FOIA office very rarely does, but we offered to him that if he could not find those documents, to let me know, and we would print them and mail them to him. So we are telling him the records you asked for do exist. Here's where they are, that you can get them publicly. If for some reason you cannot get them publicly, let me know, and we'll print them out and send them to you. His response to that was that he can accept the response if the NIH is able to substantiate their claim by producing a specific record. So again, I said to him, here is the direct link. If you're not able to access it, let me know. It's unclear to us what you're asking for, but if there is something else, we'll print the records out for you. And at this point, we're really just kind of going around in circles because we've informed him that the records exist. We've informed him specifically how he can get onto the link, directing him to exactly where those records exist, and offering, if he cannot access them, to print the records for him and mail them to him. Short of that, Your Honor, there's nothing else the FOIA office can do because, again, the FOIA office is not going to create a new document to respond to his request, nor are they going to respond yes or no. All the FOIA office can do is search for the documents that are responsive to his request and direct him, say, yes, they exist, and here they are. So that's what we've done. And I'm not sure how to resolve this matter with Mr. Yim, because he seems to kind of be going around in circles and not believing that we've actually told him that the records exist and they're publicly available.
Your Honor, if I could respond.
Surely.
What I did say in the email is that I can accept their response if they produced a specific record. And the only problem with their response has been that there are many records at the URL that they provided. To have an unambiguous response as to whether or not the document exists, I need to know exactly which document they're referring to. So they gave a link that covers many updates, and I'm asking now. I asked in the email, and I'm asking again, why not just provide the link to the specific update? It's just a matter of giving a link.
Your Honor, this is Liz Bowen with the General Law Division, HHS. I just want to point out that the Guidelines Archive link that we sent to the plaintiff is broken down by specific dates. So if it makes it easier for him to look at that archive, there is a date range that he was looking for, and I think out of, the record, it's clearly labeled as January 14th, 2021 update.
All right. It sounds to me, Mr. Yim, that it's possible, this is again my interpretation, that you cast a broader net in your FOIA request than perhaps you intended to. You've gotten a response. I'm not sure what else you're looking for from these folks. I'm happy to continue to try to resolve this, but I don't hear how that's going to happen, and it may be that you need to do the motion practice, file a motion for enforcement of your FOIA request and see what comes out of it. Because I hear you going back and forth and frankly continuing to say a lot of the same things. I think you're looking for something specific, but you asked for something more general. They gave you a response to what you asked for, and I'm not sure what else you expect them to do. You keep talking about a specific document, but you asked for a range of documents, and it sounds like they've satisfied that range.
Mm-hmm. When you say a motion for the enforcement of the FOIA request, when you say that, are you referring to a motion for summary judgment?
That's what I would think. Okay. Did you have something else in mind? I mean, this is not a matter that I would expect to go to a trial. I would expect it to go to go on a motion.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, if I guess in this conference, if the defendant is not willing to agree to any changes, the court can't order them in this type of a setting to make that change. So I guess that's the only thing left that's available is to continue the legal process.
Right. My intention today was to set a schedule for motion practice and, frankly, to explore. Sometimes people don't talk to each other, and it can be useful to have a conversation to see if a resolution can be worked out. If you came in saying, oh, I didn't realize I had the link, or if Ms. Mahoney came in saying, oh, that's what you're asking for, we can do that, then perhaps we could reach a resolution, but I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing that you're looking for something very specific, and NIH feels that they've responded fully to the request that they received, and there's a gap between your expectations.
Would it be help? I mean, in the interest of good faith discussion, if I can put this in terms of a question to the defendant, everything they've said is true. That if the document exists, it would be at that link. But is there any reason why they can't provide this specific record?
Your Honor, Margaret Mahoney on behalf of the defendants. So my understanding is that the specific record that you are interested in is the update from January 14th, 2021. Is that right? That's what you're looking for?
Yes.
And what we've told you is that you can find that specific update on the URL that we provided for you. We literally sent you one that said if you go down along the left-hand side of the page, the link, the Guidelines Archive is where all the versions are, and you can see them by date. And all you need to do is click on the January 14th date, and that update comes on. So if you would like, what we can do is print that update out and mail it to you. Would that satisfy you? I mean, I'm not sure it's right there on your computer. You can just click on it and see it. But if you would like us to print it out for you, it's not very long, and mail it to you, and that would satisfy what you're asking for, we would be happy to do that.
I'm not necessarily looking for a printout, but I do have I've opened that actual document, and I'm going to read out what the link is. I know this is going to be a little bit tedious, but I'm going to read it out to you.
That's not necessary, Mr. Yim. This is not an evidentiary hearing. If it's not what you're looking for, you can say that. I don't think you need to read the entire document.
No, not the document. I just wanted to make the point, Your Honor, that there's a very specific link that specifies the update, and they can save themselves some trouble of printing it out if they just include this link in their response, and that would tell me that the document exists, and in fact that this recommendation was voted on. So I won't read the whole link, but just to make the point that there is a link for this specific document. They just need to put it in writing that this is the update that satisfies the FOIA request. And if they do that, it's all over. I have no further demands.
Mr. Yim, is that the link that we sent you in the May 6th, 2021, 5:09 p.m. email?
No, Your Honor, this won't take long. I just want to. It's mostly words, but to what exactly the link is that I'm referring to, it starts out as https files.covid19treatmentguidelines.nih.gov/on-ivermectin-01-1021.pdf. At least in the state of the website today, that is the link to the update that I am referring to. And I'm just wondering why the defendant can't simply provide that as the response to the FOIA request.
Your Honor, we provided you, Mr. Yim, with a link to the archives, which then allowed you to get on to the January 14th document. So we did provide you with that link. And you have the document. Am I correct? You now have the document you asked for by going to the COVID-19 treatment guidelines.nih.gov/archives, right? You have the information. So I'm not sure what else we can provide for you, Mr. Yim. We gave you that link.
Well, you did not give me that link. You gave me a different link. And it's a very, maybe this is just being too tedious about things. But the link that I just read out, if you could provide that in an official response, that satisfies my request completely. Or if that link is not responsive to my request, say that there is no document that's responsive to my request. That's all there is to it.
I'm going to make a suggestion.
We're going in circles here.
Well, I don't know what the link is. Frankly, I'm not going to look for it. This is for you folks to work out. Sure. Ms. Mahoney, go with your folks. See if there's something, I don't know the link that Mr. Yim just read out, but obviously that's what he's concerned about. If it's a link that is responsive to his request, he'd like you to say so and move on. I don't know and if it's not something you can say, then let's have a motion filed. I don't know what the issue is going to be on the motion, frankly. I don't know what issue is open here that as a matter of law Judge Qureshi is going to be asked to decide. But I leave that to you, and frankly to you, Mr. Yim, to articulate how the information that NIH and Ms. Mahoney have provided falls short of what you asked for in your FOIA request. It sounds to me that you are trying to narrow your request to something. It sounds to me that they have responded broadly to the broader request that you made. I'm going to instruct you to have a further conversation. Mr. Yim, that URL link that you just read out loud, which I didn't write down, I don't know if anybody else did. My brain turns off a little when I hear too many slashes and backslashes. But you provide that to Ms. Mahoney and see if, and perhaps put in writing what it is you're looking for in terms of that link and a response. And if she can do it, I presume she'll do it, and if she can't, she'll tell you, and then you can file a motion. Right now, we're at the end of August. I'd like you to have further conversations. You are welcome to reach out to me if you think I can help you in your conversations. I have no great confidence that I can, but I'm certainly happy to try. And if you can't resolve it, you file your motion. I think of it as a motion for enforcement of the FOIA request, but it's really, you can do it as a motion for summary judgment on the claims and the complaint. You do that by September 24. That's a month from now. That would be returnable October 18. I think this has to get resolved one way or another. I'm instructing you to have further conversations in the next week or so. Why don't you report back to me by, let's see, today is the 25th. I'd like to hear from you by September, let's say September 8th, as to the results of your efforts to confer on this and whether you can resolve it or not. But if you can't, then let's get the motion on file. I feel like we're sort of walking in circles a little bit here. You folks talk to each other, put something in writing with each other, then have another conversation so you understand it. Maybe you can work it out, maybe you can't. But if you can't, let's get it in a motion. All right?
Okay. Thank you very much, Donna.
Thank you, Anna.
All right.
So, Mr. Yim, I'll look for an email from you with that specific link on, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
All right. Do you each have each other's phone numbers so that you can actually talk to each other rather than emails? Sometimes emails are very helpful, and sometimes they are very misleading because it's easy to interpret it in a way that someone else doesn't intend. So I want you to have conversations, not just emails, okay?
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. So, Mr. Yim, when you send me the email, why don't you put on that email any phone number that you would like me to contact, and I will supply you with my work number as well.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you all. Stay well, and good luck. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Bye-bye.